Although I have a lot of nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot, I'm going to try give a good, honest review. For a game that was nicknamed Sonic's Ass, I played it a lot as a kid. Vicarious Visions and Activision have done a great job of bringing it into the HD world. I was super excited to hear about this. I was like over the moon happy to hear that Crash Bandicoot was being remastered, and he's going to be brought out to the PS4, which luckily I have. Now I really hope they didn't spoil anything, like change it so much that it wasn't recognisable, but they did an excellent job of doing this game. Now in terms of gameplay, not much has really changed. The biggest difference being the HD graphics. Crash still feels and plays and controls the same way as what he did in the original. See, even in Crash Bandicoot 1, you only controlled him with the directional buttons, but in the remaster you can now use the analog sticks. You can also play as Coco, which is an excellent addition. She plays exactly how Crash plays, you know, same kind of physics and all that. And she even has her own little animations, which is great. Switching between the directional buttons and analog controls is seamless all the way through. You can swap at any time you want. I've done it a lot, especially on bonus stages. The game responds very well. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, Crash is a hard game. In fact, there's a few levels in which I just full on just put the controller down, stop playing. Nope, don't rage, just take a breath, come back to it. And I came back to it because it's addictive as hell. I'm not breaking one of these because these cost a lot, and Crash not make me break it. Now, I'm not going to say that it's a Dark Souls level of difficulty because it's no way that hard. Even though these memes have come out, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. I mean, the physics are quite old. But I swear to God, that goddamn level, slippery climb. I've never raged that much at any level. I died like 100 times. I think that was the first time I ever got a game over in Crash, actually. All the bosses are exactly the same as you would remember them. If you can beat them in the original trilogy, you can beat them in HD. It just looks better now. A couple good things has actually been introduced into the HD remaster. My favourite being the autosave. That has saved me so many times. Even as a child, I forget to save, and if I die so much and then I get a game over, I'd like to go back to a save in which I have lives. And another good thing is anywhere within the hub world or the island, you can save. Crash Bandicoot, all three games are quite short. You can finish them within like a couple sit-ins. However, you can sink a lot of time into it because a lot of the levels are quite difficult. There's no margin for error with, especially the first one. There's no margin for error at all. If you miss a jump by just like that much, you're gonna die. So yeah, you learn to be quite precise with the jumping and the spinning and the Wumpa fruits and the Aku. What have I got? I mean, it's a very linear game, so it doesn't matter what level of skill you have at playing games, everyone's going to experience the same thing. You'll learn as you play. It's more trial and error than anything else. Now, if there's one thing I wish they improved, it would be how the mounted levels control. So, by the mounted levels, I mean the polar bear, the jet ski, and the motorbike levels. They all control like they did in the old ones, and it's not the best mechanics. It's all very clunky. You know, I wish that they had improved that. Boy oh boy, these graphics though. This game looks amazing. It's so good to see Crash in HD and look like he's meant to look. All the characters in HD are like so recognizable. I'm really happy with how they brought them into the HD world. I swear, every time I record, these dogs go crazy. I'm hoping you can't hear them. I mean, the characters didn't really have many changes on their design to say, which I thought was good because, say, in like Crash of the Titans or the other Crash games, everybody looks different. Like, look at Aku. In the original, the HD, Crash of the Titans.
Look at this dude.
Now let's talk about level design. Each level has been made to look exactly like the original. Nostalgia points are high here. That includes all the secrets, all the bonus ones, all the gem levels, everything looks amazing and crisp and mwah. However, I found that at some points in some levels, the original looked like it had more detail, like it was more grimier. It was things that looked bad, but in the original it looked kind of just nice. It's hard to explain. I'll show some pictures. I've got to say that the lighting wasn't always great in some of the levels. I mean, there's a lot of times where it looked too bright, or it wasn't like, didn't have ambience. But nonetheless, on some levels, that voice crack though, nonetheless, on some levels, the lighting looked magnificent. It looked beautiful. Just on other points, it looked a bit dull and poorly lit. My main concern though was how all the colours were kind of washed out. I noticed this in the first level of the first Crash actually. Like in the originals, everything popped. It was saturated, you know, it was good. But yeah, it looked kind of washed out and faded, really. Another thing is, when Crash came out, the PS1 was being pushed constantly throughout the whole game. The PS4 was hardly touched. I understand that it's not a graphics heavy game, but they could have added something so that, you know, it made it, you know. Now let's talk about the sound effects and the soundtrack. Every song and sound effect had been remastered and remade, from the gem collecting to Crash's. Wow! It sounds great. It really does. I really enjoyed all of the remakes and what they did. It sounded like the original, sounded like how it was meant to sound. And even the soundtracks, oh my god. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people, well, I've seen people complain about it a little bit, saying how the original's better, but who doesn't say that? I believe they've done a great job at making it sound good and as close as they could to the original. But yes, overall, the Sane Trilogy was a great remaster of an old classic game. It hit all of the right nostalgic marks, you know, top points for that. They could have improved the game mechanics and maybe the lighting a little bit, like I could, because what is this lighting? Like, what am I doing? I'd give it a good 4.7 out of 5 stars. Anyway, TLDR, it's in HD and it plays like the original. What more can you ask for? So yes, if you have a PS4 and you have the money for Crash, definitely buy it. It's a great game, it's a great play. If not, and you have it on PS1, play it, because it's great. Anyway guys, comment down below what you think about this game. Honestly, I think it's one of the best games that's come out recently, even though it came out like 20 years ago.